it's Rachel from Ladle by Ladle and welcome to my channel. So today, let's talk about weight loss. Weight loss has become this glorified, much sought after activity in our society. We live in a culture that promotes thinness as a way to market and sell you meal plans, shakes, diet plans, memberships, and other weight loss products. Not so fun fact, Americans spend more on dieting every year than we spend on video games or movies. Weight loss became synonymous with health when obesity rates began to rise. Pharmaceutical companies framed fatness as a disease and problem to be fixed in order to, you guessed it, sell the magic cure. Now that obesity is considered a disease, doctors can charge you more for even mentioning weight at your appointment. And more money gets put into the pockets of weight loss programs, bariatric practicing surgeons, and diet pill companies. It's easy to jump to the conclusion that a fat person is unhealthy because of the weight bias narrative that diet companies and mainstream media has been peddling for decades. But the truth is that weight and health aren't always equal. Studies show that between 1/3 and 3/4 of all overweight people are actually metabolically very healthy. No cardiovascular issues, no high blood pressure, not even high cholesterol. And another recent study showed that people with a normal BMI are actually twice as likely to develop diabetes than a healthy overweight person. What all this indicates is that your weight doesn't actually determine your health. And assuming that fat or overweight people need to lose weight for their health is actually a false narrative that has been literally sold to the masses. In the meantime, we have created a culture in which a thin body is the ultimate aesthetic goal. People genuinely feel like they will be happier and better if they can only be thinner. Thin, perfectly proportioned women are seen all over social and mainstream media and in advertising spaces. All of this representation telling the story that a woman needs to be thin to be happy or beautiful. Of course, we know that's not actually true and that men and women of all sizes, bodies, shapes, and colors are beautiful. And thank God for the body positivity movement, which is finally allowing more visibility of these different body types to be seen in the media. But unfortunately, body positivity kind of remains a counterculture as we continue to see one specific color and body type on runways, screens, and magazines. Given these major cultural myths that we live with and navigate every day, it's really easy to see how we have become a society obsessed with weight loss. Not so fun fact. 45% of adults say they are preoccupied with their weight all the time, and 50% of girls ages 3 to 6 say they worry about becoming fat. So, as a society, we attempt to lose weight. And how do we attempt to do this? With diet and exercise, of course. Well, let me blow your mind here for a minute. Diets don't work. All diets. Yes, even keto, even Weight Watchers, even veganism, if it's being used as a diet. Since 1958, there has been research showing that 95 to 98% of all diets fail. Not only that, but 2/3 of dieters actually gain back more weight than they lost. If you're wondering why, don't worry, that data has actually been known since the late 60s. Research has shown for decades that losing just 3% of your body weight results in a 17% slowdown of your metabolism. This results in symptoms that a lot of dieters may recognize, like a drop in core body temperature and an increase of hunger levels. These biological responses are put in place by your body to ensure that you gain the weight back and then some, just as a safety net in case you try to lose any more again. Losing weight and keeping it off requires you to fight your body's natural metabolism every day. And ironically, it makes you a pretty unhealthy individual. So let's turn to a hypothetical weight loss subject. She hates herself, hates her body. Her doctor even told her that she may one day have health problems because of her weight. So she works out every day and cuts out tons of unhealthy food groups. She loses weight, but she's tired. She's hungry. She misses comfort food. She wants to take a break, but then she remembers how she was teased when she was bigger and the words of her doctor repeat in her ears. One of two hypothetical scenarios happens to our subject. Either she gives into her body's cravings and goes off her diet and exercise plan and the weight comes back, plus a little extra, or she continues down her current path and develops an eating disorder or exercise addiction, or combination of the two. She lives in constant agony in a world dominated by obsessions with numbers, workouts, and scales. The weight loss did not make her happier, and she's mentally and physically unhealthier now more than ever. She has food nightmares. She cannot stop calculating calories. She is terrified of gaining the weight back, but miserable now that it's off. Doesn't that sound great? Almost every person I know, including myself, has attempted to lose weight because they thought it would make them healthier, even if they weren't that unhealthy to begin with. Or because they wanted a different body, or because they thought losing weight would make them happier and more accepted. And yet I don't really know a single person who has actually been successful with long-term, sustainable, happy, healthy weight loss. So, is permanent weight loss even possible? As you may know if you've been to my channel before, I recovered from my eating disorder using the science from the Minnesota Starvation Experiment and believing in a theory called set point theory. This is important because this theory states that every single person in the world has a predetermined set point weight range in which your body's metabolism will fight to stay at. This set point range is determined by factors such as your genetics, hormones, environment. Someone can live above or below their set point range for a while, but not without metabolic side effects. I believe fully in this set point theory because I've been living it for years. I eat whatever I feel like, I almost never work out, and my size hasn't budged for over 3 years. Despite doing things that most chronic dieters would assume would make me balloon up forever, my metabolism keeps me right dang here no matter what I do. Now, I know I'm at the top of my set point range because I eat a lot of high calorie, highly processed food and I don't really move around that much. But occasionally throughout the year I get a little more energy and I take a yoga class or I drink a smoothie or something, and I notice like throughout the year my weight fluctuates and sometimes my pants are looser and sometimes they're tighter. But no matter what, I'm always within my set point range. None of that weight fluctuation is intentional. I find that in general, when I don't interfere at all, my body works in a natural balance where I'll eat a lot of junk food and then I'll crave like a wrap or a salad or something, you know, and I don't question it. I just live my life, and I find that even if it's just balance in a day or balance throughout the year, eventually it all works out if I don't stress about it or feel guilt about anything that I let myself do. After working my ass off in recovery, I know that being happy and a good person is way better for me both mentally and physically than being thin ever will be. All of that to say, is sustainable weight loss really possible? Well, sure, but only to a point. Losing weight below the lowest point of your set point range will never be healthy or sustainable because it's going to cause your metabolism to slow down. And I think it's important to remember here that your set point can be anywhere on the BMI chart. The arbitrary categories that already exist are not good ways to actually indicate your optimal health. So your set point range could be technically overweight, or in very, very rare cases, it can be technically underweight, or like most people, somewhere in the middle. But don't try and force it to be something lower than it is, because otherwise you're just slowing down your metabolism and making life a lot harder for yourself. And any diet that you try, it's not gonna work. It's okay to want to be healthy by gaining muscle or eating lots of fruits and veggies, but even then, be vigilant. Are you going to start to go down a rabbit hole which will eventually lead to failure or depression or something else that sucks? If you don't have an eating disorder and you're not in recovery, exercise is okay, but an unhealthy obsession with exercise is dangerous. Steady state cardio has been proven again and again to be ineffective for weight loss. So unless you honestly love running, step off the treadmill and, I don't know, go into the weight room. Or be like me and never step foot into a gym ever. Whenever I feel like moving, I go take a yoga class. Yoga is really the only movement that I genuinely enjoy doing. And if you don't genuinely enjoy what you're doing, then you're working out for the wrong reasons. And listen, eating foods that are considered healthy by virtue of being more nutritionally dense is fine, but just be careful and don't cut out any food groups for no reason at all. Because the minute you start making these mental restrictions for the sake of health, is the minute that your mind and body is going to want those foods more and more and more and more. And of course they are. You should just let them eat them. And then remember never to make a restriction for no fucking reason again. So again, if you're not suffering from an eating disorder, in quasi-recovery, or in full recovery of any kind from an eating disorder, feel free to find an activity that you enjoy and make a salad every now and then, but don't put limits or expectations on yourself. You have your whole life to live. So make sure that you're actually enjoying every single day. Finally, let's talk about body image, because it's really important when it comes to weight loss. We've already covered how fighting your body's natural homeostasis is a dangerous game. And if you want to lose weight because you think it'll make you happier, I'm here to tell you it's not the magic cure. Your happiness comes from within, and if you're not happy now, you're not going to be any happier when you're thinner. If you feel like you're unloved or you have a sense of self-loathing, try therapy. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's really, really good for you. A lot of eating disorder victims and chronic dieters probably could have avoided years of misery by just learning to love themselves unconditionally. I had to learn how to love myself unconditionally as I gained back all the weight that I lost. And although it's not easy, it's a wonderful feeling to know that no matter what I look like, I have value and worth far beyond my outward appearance. But also that no matter what I look like, I'm still cute as hell. So what I'm saying is that if you're worried about your health, make sure that your body image is okay before you embark on any kind of changes to your activity level or diet. Again, you won't be happy if your body changes if you aren't happy now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you liked it, tried some new things, you know, but this is a topic that I'm clearly very passionate about, and it's kind of the basis for my whole friggin' YouTube channel, so it's about time that I dedicated an entire video to my point of view. And every time I make a video like this, there's like some sort of hot take apparently. I always get a lot of shit in the comments, but I have linked all of my sources down in the description below for any like scientific facts that I spewed out at y'all. And also, like, I know the way that I live my life, and I've watched people fail and diet and diet and diet again after again after again. And I believe in the science that I've read because I have lived it. And so, whatever, try and change my mind if you really want to, but also, like, why are you here if you're, like, pro-dieting? This is the wrong-ass channel for you, okay? Okay. Subscribe, like, love you. See you next time.